In today's video, we're going to be doing a full breakdown of how to utilize the FX Replay backtesting software. Hey guys, my name is Fabio, and today with the Trading Pit, we're doing a full run through of how to utilize the FX Replay backtesting software, including its different functionalities and a trade breakdown. Now, if you want to see more of these kind of videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's dive straight in. Starting off, we're here inside the FX Replay dashboard. Now, in this dashboard, you're going to be able to see all the key metrics of your backtesting performance, such as the time invested, the historical time that you've been replaying, also the trades that you've taken, but also definitely your overall win rate, including the different assets that you've been trading by symbol, and also, again, the overall win rate depending on the overall month. Furthermore, you're going to have access to your most recent backtesting sessions, where you can also have a little bit more insights into the data overall that you have produced, seeing, for example, your total P&L, your account balance, your win rate, your total trades, your total break-even trades, and much more. This is very much comparable to a software such as MyFXBook or, for example, FX Blue, that creates an overall, let's say, performance tracker, including all of the key metrics that you want to know of your overall backtesting sessions. Now, furthermore, you have the Sessions tab. Inside the Sessions tab, you can have a look at all of your historical backtesting sessions. Here you can, for example, select the overall sessions and go back to the different backtesting sessions that you have conducted, including, you can see here, the current balance and the overall time frame that you were backtesting on. Furthermore, you have the different strategies. So here you can make a difference on the strategies that you've been testing. So you can, for example, make a 4-hour strategy, you can make a 15-minute strategy, a swing trading strategy, or even, for example, a fundamental trading strategy, including a description of the overall strategy. This is a very easy way to have a good overview of the different strategies that you are trading overall. Furthermore, what I really like is that you have a checklist function. Now, in the checklist function, you can add the overall confluences to a certain strategy. For example, what I do is that I have a 4-hour entry model, and then what I would do is that I would add here the different confluences which are required to enter a trade using that entry model. So I would say market structure 4-hour, and I would add it. And then I would say, for example, a daily demand zone, for example, add it. And then within the overall backtesting, you can then tick off those boxes so that you are certain that you're ticking off all of the checklists before actually taking an overall valid entry. Now, furthermore, you have a journal function. Here you can add in overall your journal of actually the live trading that you conduct on a daily basis. I haven't added anything in here, but if you would want to do that, you can obviously do that. And furthermore, we have an analytics tool which analyzes your overall backtesting sessions itself, including all of the in-depth information that you require in order to improve your edge. Now, going into the more interesting part, obviously, that you guys want to see, how can we actually backtest? Now, here on the right bottom section, we have plus new session. Click on this, and what you can do here is you can give a name to your backtesting session. So what I would, for example, do is I would say Euro USD 2025 and then 4-hour strategy. Then here you can set your account starting balance. So let's say we want to backtest on a $100,000 account, and then the overall asset can be chosen here, which is going to be Euro USD. Now, I mainly always use the Dukas copy data feed, as for me that just works the best. Chart layout, nothing really too necessary. And then the initial date, we'll set that on January 1st. And the end date will be currently June 8th. Now, what we can do then here is create the overall session. And then what's going to happen is that the session itself will come over here on the recent session section. If we just scroll down here inside the dashboard, you can also find the overall session here in the sessions tab at the top. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to open it from the dashboard overall. We're going to press play, and what you will then see is that the overall chart gets loaded in. Now, if you want, you can adjust the overall settings of your chart here by adjusting the chart colors to your liking, obviously. So let's say you want a bullish candle to be green and a bearish candle to be red, then that's also definitely possible. Obviously, in the settings section, and then go to canvas, you can also change the overall background of your backtesting session. Now, when we dive into actually taking trades, what we're going to do here is going to find and identify an overall beautiful trade that we want to be taking here on the screen overall. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press the play function, and we're going to see if we can identify any beautiful setups. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this, because these are the different time frames that you can pretty much load the chart on, and then here you can press play, and this just loads in every single individual candle, and by pressing this you actually just make sure that the chart, let's say, plays itself as you're mostly going to be used to. So what we see here on the chart itself is that we have a break of structure in towards the downside over here. So what I use as a strategy is pretty much very simply said, breaks of structure together with supply and demand and liquidity points. So in this particular market, what I identify here is that we have a bearish market. So here we have a high, here we have a lower low, here we have a lower high, a lower low, and now I'm looking to identify a new potential lower high to then again take a short position in towards the downside. Now, furthermore, when it comes to identifying my areas of supply, I'll load in my, let's say box over here, my rectangle. And what I identify is that this is an area of interest for myself. This is an area of interest for myself. And that I would like to use these descending highs here as a potential liquidity point to fuel a potential short position further in towards the downside from one of either areas of supply. Now, what I also like using is the Fibonacci retracement tool, with this being my swing high, this being my swing low over here. I then like to say that the 0.5 fib is pretty much an area from where I want to start shorting. However, we also need the other confluences, because yes, we're now trading at a premium, and a premium price is everything above the 0.5 fib. But we also need obviously the liquidity points to get taken out, and we need to tap into an area of supply. So what I would now do is I would press again the play button. So here we see we get into my area of supply. Now personally, I don't just take a short off an area of supply, but I wait for confirmation. So here on the 4-hour time frame, what I want to see is I want to see a low break over here, because this is the structural low which broke the high over here and pushed the market up higher into my area of supply. So for now, the market structure, or the immediate market structure, is still bullish. So I'm waiting for that to flip bearish. So here we get the bearish market structure flip. What I would then do is I would draw in my rectangle, and I would say, okay, this is now my area of supply, because this for me is now the buy before the sell. Right, so the buy before the sell up, which caused the break of structure, so the break of the structural low, which broke this previous high over here. So in this market condition, we have a bearish market, we have an overall swing high, we have an overall swing low, we had liquidity, we had a supply zone, and we had a market structure shift here on the 4-hour time frame. Now, if you want to take actual positions, what you can do here is just put in your risk to reward tool. So let's put it on the current price. I'm going to place my stop loss above the area of supply, and we're going to target a new lower low for a 1 to 1.5 risk to reward. Now, what you have here is a place order button. So what I want to do is I want to place my order, and then what you can see here is that you can first of all set the risk percentage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a 1% risk. As you can see, the risk amount is then $1,000. What you can also see is that automatically my entry price is already loaded into this order placement by me placing that risk to reward tool in there. Also, the stop loss has already been automatically placed, and also the take profit has also automatically been placed. If you want, you can also add partials. I personally don't do that, but you can see the amount of features that this tool have is absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to press save, and then what you can see is that the order has now been input into the market with the stop loss set, the take profit set, and the overall entry set as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press play candle by candle. We see there is an initial reaction to the supply zone, but the market tends to be stalling. We get some push up, and then eventually our stop loss gets hit. Now what you can then see is that on the closed position section, that particular position has now a realized loss of -1%. Now if you furthermore want to break down this trade, you can also go to the journal trade section, and then in there you can add, for example, a screenshot and an entire breakdown of why you took that trade, including all the different confluences and all the other pieces of feedback that you want to give to that trade. Now what we can see here is that the market eventually reacts to that higher supply zone, but then again overall continues pushing further in towards the upside, in line with what we saw on the weekly time frame to be an overall liquidity sweep of the lows down below over here. So yeah, this was an overall market structure break, and now as I know from my overall live trading, Euro USD is going to continue and push much higher. So this overall was how you can backtest using the FX Replay, your trading software or the backtesting software. If you have any questions, let us know in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Thanks.